Good afternoon, everyone. Let us take a moment to pray, recognizing all faiths, recognizing the importance of a higher power. Eternal Spirit, we come grateful to you for this day as we come together as all children of God to commemorate and to memorialize and to celebrate that which is before us, behind us, and where we are right now. We ask you to bless this wonderful time together. We pray your blessings on how we not only speak here today, but what we do when this day is over. Let us go back to our communities and do everything we can in the spirit of love and of peace and of unity to work together, to learn together, and to work to make change together. May this memorable day be a day for all of us, and may all that we do give glory to you. And in the name of humanity we pray, amen.
Good afternoon. Today we acknowledge this place where we stand and throughout the Americas as the ancestral lands of the indigenous people. For myriads of years before, the indigenous people lived and thrived on this land. In the past few hundred years, colonies formed and forced the indigenous people out of their homes, excluded them, and tokenized their existence as the original people of this land. Join me in uplifting these voices by acknowledging and naming the indigenous people of this land. Portland and Greater Multnomah County are located on the traditional homelands of many tribal people, including and not limited to Multnomah, Kathnamet, and Clackamas, which are bands of the present-day Chinook tribe, the Molalla, Tualatin, Kalapuya, which are two of the current-day 26 bands and tribes of the Confederate tribes of Grand Ronde, bands and tribes of the current-day Confederated tribes of Warm Springs, Hamlets, and many other indigenous nations also made their home and seasonal camps along the Columbia, Willamette, Clackamas, and Sandy rivers. Today, I acknowledge the people of these traditional tribal territories that we live, work, and play on, and bring their existence into this place and into our minds and hearts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jackie Jane, and I'm pleased to welcome you all to today's memorial of Vincent Chin, as well as to stand together in solidarity for our Black and African American communities. Today marks the end of the 5-day cross-country memorial vigil spearheaded by the Chinese American Heritage Foundation, with Asian Pacific Islander organizations to honor the memory of Vincent Chin, who was brutally murdered on June 19, 1982. This murder does not mark the start, nor the end of racism against all people of color in the United States. Recently, the Black Lives Matter movement has gained traction, with all 50 states, as well as numerous other countries, participating in protests and advocacy against systemic racism. From this, we must ask ourselves, when will this end? When will the disaffection, demoralization, and the gap between people on the sole basis of their skin color become something of the past? As Asian Americans, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, and all Americans, we must work together to constructively end racial-based inequality. For injustice against one is injustice against all. Today, we welcome and thank all speakers for their thoughts and for standing up for equality and against racism. We would also like to give a special thanks to the other community leaders attending, including Jacqueline Peterson Loomis of Portland Chinatown Museum, Joe Chow of Bing Kong Kong Association, Gloria Lee of Chinese American Citizens Alliance. Thank you all for attending today's memorial. And now, let's welcome the first speaker, Mayor Kegwu.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to join this group of leaders here today to commemorate the 38th anniversary of Vincent Chin's death. $3,000. $3,000. That was the price of murdering a Chinese man in 1982. A $3,000 fine, 3 years of probation, and 0 prison time is what the two men who murdered Vincent Chin received as their initial punishment. Vincent Chin's death was an unfortunate reminder of the hate and bigotry many people face every day in our world. If there was any good that came of that horrible incident, it's that it served as a catalyst for the Asian Americans to come together and speak out against racially charged hate crimes and to stand up and unite for their civil rights. The justice denied of Vincent Chin has led to the formation of numerous Asian American civil rights organizations all across the United States, many of which are Pan-Asian and many of which are located right here in the beautiful Rose City. These actions in the face of such events truly speak to the incredible spirit of the American people. No matter your race, ethnicity, creed, or background, the fight for justice, equality, and the ending of systematic racism is a fight we must all take up, and it's a fight we must all take up together. I know it's tiring. I know it feels like every BIPOC person and their allies have made incremental progress, if any. And sometimes it feels like when we're taking a step forward, we're taking 2 steps back. And I know it's challenging to champion the message of unity, collaboration, and support for all peoples when we have leaders at the highest level of government resorting to divisive rhetoric. But we need to keep at it, and we need to keep moving forward. If we don't do justice for Vincent Chin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Emmett Till, or any of the countless people all across this country who've needlessly lost their lives. With the global pandemic and recent events surrounding systematic racism and racial injustice, I see a lot of hurt, a lot of anger, and a lot of pain right here in our community. If you're a minority living in this country, that pain and anger is very much justified. But I see something else. I see a new generation of leaders coming to the fore. I see young people united and pushing for social and political reform across all sectors. I see people who will not be silenced and who will no longer sit idly by. I see hope for a brighter, more resilient, unified, and just future for everyone. And to my white colleagues in leadership or positions of influence in the community, we need to do our part too. We need to acknowledge the issues, and we need to lead in solving these issues. We need to help keep up the momentum for change. The past has not been kind to our communities of color, and to be honest, neither has the present. But I'm hopeful as we look to the future and we look to the next generation of leaders. And I sincerely hope we learn from the lessons of the past to forge a brighter future. The path ahead is not going to be easy. It's never been. But I believe in the strength and the resolve of our Portland community. The only direction we go from here is forward. And the only way we do it is together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here. I really appreciate this. Several years ago, I was lucky enough to begin attending the various Chinese New Year celebration, and truly enjoyed it. I eat too much as it is, and they have really allowed me to really just go at it. So I appreciate that. But one of the first things I did when I was there, the first time that I was asked to speak, I said, one of the things we need to see is people coming together. And when we see the different groups in Portland come together, we will see a change. Well, I didn't think I was predicting things, but I was. We are seeing a change. And it is a change that is not going to be just a 1 or 2 day or 1 or 2 week situation. We are going to see, we are seeing some significant change. And I want to thank all of the communities in Portland, but I especially want to thank the Chinese community. Folks have come together to work with everyone and come together to work with themselves. We've managed to produce a support system that is extraordinary. It is one of those things that we will start to see the changes because, as we've seen, when we all work together, as the mayor said, we get things done. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler, for those comments. Several weeks ago, I got a chance to go down to Coos Bay. And it was because of a curious historical fact. In Coos Bay, they had a lynching that took place about 1902, 1903. And most of the folks in the state did not even know about it. It's an African-American man who was accused of something. He ended up hiding for a night after the sheriff released him, and then they hanged him from a tree, hanged him from a bridge, actually, that is now at the same spot as the high school. Now, for the Chinese community, Coos Bay also has a history of harassment, attacks, and other things taking place. And people try to figure out what they can do about it. But Oregon has its own history of being within the Constitution, not allowing non-whites to live more than 24 hours in one place. The Chinese community had to deal with that. The Black community had to deal with that. The Native Americans, it goes without saying, have been struggling and have been attacked for years. The Latino community continues to struggle with all sorts of things, and we now, because of the virus and all the other things that we've had to deal with, are now understanding how many people slipping through the cracks. But you don't slip through the cracks if people are working together. You don't slip through the cracks if you understand where the problems are. And I am so pleased to be able to be here, to be able to see the kind of community that we are building because of the acknowledgement of those deficits that we've had for decades, for centuries, but certainly for decades, and for certainly in the last few years. So finally, I want to just say that I really appreciate the support that I've been given and the support that has been given to communities across the state by this community here. And I hope that we will continue to work together and make a difference for Oregon, for Portland, for Northwest Portland, and for the Pearl District. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Who was Vincent Chin? He was born in Guangdong province in China in 1955. He was adopted by an orphanage and immigrated to the United States with his adoptive parents David and Lily Chin at the age of 6. He grew up in Highland Park, Michigan. In 1971, he moved to Oak Park, Michigan, where he graduated from Oak Park High School. Vincent went on to study at the Control Data Institute. He became a draftsman and was employed at an engineering firm in Detroit, Michigan. On June 19, 1982, while celebrating with friends before his wedding day, he had an altercation with 2 white men, a Ronald Evans, a plant supervisor, and Michael Litt, a laid-off auto worker at a bar. Evans verbally harassed Chin by shouting racial slurs and anti-Asian sentiments while attacking Chin. They assumed Chin was Japanese and blamed his race for the recent layoff, despite the fact that Chin was Chinese. The scuffle broke out and both parties were thrown out of the bar. Evans and Litt hunted the neighborhood for Chin. When they found him, Evans grabbed a baseball bat from his car, and Chin tried to escape, but yet held him down by Evans repeatedly bludgeoning Chin until his head cracked open. Chin was taken to the hospital in a coma and died 4 days later. So on June 27, 1982, Vincent's guests attended his funeral at his wedding. Evans and Nitz were arrested and charged with second-degree murder. A plea bargained down from murder to manslaughter in 83. The sentence was only 3 years probation and $3,000 fine. The lenient sentence sparked national outrage across the country from all Asian Americans. At that time, government officials, politicians, and law organizations dismissed the serious violation of civil rights. The newly formed group, American Citizens for Justice, ACJ, with Lily Chin actively leading, rallied for justice and stronger federal hate crime legislation. They marched, protested, and wrote letters regarding the lack of justice. This group consisted of individuals ranging from Asian descent, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Filipino. In 1983, the grand jury handed down an indictment on Evans and Nitz for violating Chin's civil rights. This was the first time the Civil Rights Act was used involving Asian American victims. Although the prosecution won the conviction for 25 years, it was thrown out on appeal and a retrial granted. The retrial was moved to a community where there were no Asian Americans, which resulted in acquittal of Chin's killers. Vincent Chin has been the driving force among all activists in Asian American civil rights. Some feel there's still no justice. We must stop injustice and racial disparities, not because people look different, but to guarantee justice and equality for all. All Americans, whether Asian, Black, Hispanic, Native, must stand together to end this systemic racism.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Sushila Jayapal, your Multnomah County Commissioner for District 2, representing North and Northeast Portland. As the speakers before me have said, we are here today to remember and mourn Vincent Chin. We're here to remember the brutal racism that led to his murder. And we're here to remember the injustice in the fact that the perpetrators of that murder were never held to account. We're also here to recognize the courage, as Janet told us, of Vincent's mother, Lily Chin. Speaking up and speaking out had not been part of Lily's experience, and she did it because she couldn't let injustice remain unremarked. Lily Chin's bravery rested on a foundation built by the movement for civil rights. She was supported by Black leaders like Jesse Jackson, who took time out from his presidential campaign to accompany her as she went around the country demanding justice for Vincent Chin. For all of our lives, our Asian American lives and histories in this country, our freedoms have been built on the foundations created by the struggle and leadership of Black activists, writers, poets, and educators. Asian American activists have also joined that struggle. Grace Lee Boggs, Yuri Kochiyama, Richard Aoki, and many others joined with the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers, and other Black leaders in the struggle for civil rights. Yet for too long, too many of us non-Black Asian Americans have seen ourselves as separate from the struggle between Black and white. For too long, many of us have averted our eyes from the anti-Blackness that is deeply rooted in our own communities and cultures. But that is changing. And the fact that we're gathered here today is proof that it's changing, and the change is powerful. Many more of us now recognize that we are part of the struggle. Many more of us now recognize that there's no neutral position in this fight. There is no neutral position. Gopal Dayani, a South Asian activist, was the founder of the group Asians for Black Lives, that said this, quote, "The path to the liberation of all our communities travels through the liberation of Black people in America." I'll repeat that. The path to the liberation of all our communities travels through the liberation of Black people in America. So in this moment, as we grieve the murder of Vincent Chin, In this moment, as we grieve the murder of George Floyd and of countless other Black people and Black trans people killed nationally and right here in Multnomah County, as our community rises up and takes to the streets and demands justice, in this moment, we too must be loud and clear and insist that Black lives matter. And that matter is just the minimum. Black lives are worthy, Black lives are beloved, Black lives are needed. Vincent Chin's life, our lives, will not matter until Black lives matter. Thank you.
So excited to get that mask off, isn't it? Well, good afternoon all. I thought a lot about this day, the messages that we're all saying and wondering every single day, like, are we going to say the right thing? Are we going to say the thing that will help us all figure this out? Get to a place where we're having some understanding, clarity of what's going on. And it's a bizarre time to be in. We didn't think that actually this pandemic would shift us the way it is doing now. I knew it would shift us. But it's now taking a bigger turn. Because the ever-present reality of inequities is there, not just in Black lives that have been taken recently, Vincent Chin's life, many other Native people's lives, community people, all kinds of people. Not just because of all of their lives that are taken, but the inequities of the medical system that unfortunately puts us, many of us, in a place of our physical health not being good enough to keep us from dying from a pandemic. We look at the numbers. Communities of color are far more affected by this pandemic than others. And we have to say, what is that? Is that social determinants of health? Which in my opinion is a fancy way of saying we don't eat as well as we used to traditionally because we don't have access to the foods. We don't have access to our own personal, our medical care in a way that makes sense. There's lots of inequities that are happening around this country at this point, around the world. And I think about that a lot. That's the reason actually that I became a legislator. Because I recognize the laws that we put in place in this country affect the people on the ground. They affect all of us, all of our communities. And I became a legislator because I recognized how those inequities affected my community and many communities of color. And I thought we have to shift this. Because the old laws that made it acceptable to just pay $3,000 and have a little probation going on for killing Vincent Chin, that needs to go away. That type of thing has to go away. We have to figure out, and we are sort of making it in those directions, but we have to figure out how we're doing all of this differently. How there's a level of accountability for our lives. Seriously, where's the level of accountability for all lives as communities of color? That's the thing we have to figure out. We have to figure out, and then how do we do it in a way that people understand this has been a power dynamic for a very, very long time. As an indigenous person, I can say everybody's an immigrant or a descendant thereof, right? And I'll just tell you right now, I hate the word minority because I refuse to be called a minority in my own homeland. But technically, we are less than in terms of volume than we used to be. People of color are actually becoming a larger group of populations in this country, and we need to recognize that too, and help people figure that out. How do we move from here? But we also need to help those non-people of color understand that your personal power, your personal privilege should be a privilege for everyone. It shouldn't be just you. And people of color shouldn't die just because they're people of color and you're afraid of them, afraid of what they might do. And we've seen that over and over and over again in these last few weeks, months, years even. It's all shifting now, it's all changing. And it's going to be interesting and it's going to be hard. There was this fun, I thought it was funny, meme going around in the early part of the pandemic that
said something like, "Oh, you don't have a job, you don't have any food, and the government's telling you what to do. Calm down, you've only been Indian for a month." Because for us, we've been dealing with this for years and years and years of being unemployed because of just the economics of things, of living in poverty and having the government tell us what to do all the time. Very different. And people have a hard time getting used to some of this. But this is our reality for quite some time to come now. But it's also time for us to step up as communities of color and say we are needing to change this, and we are going to change this. And we will shift this dynamic in some way, shape, or form. So, pay attention. Watch out. And be okay with it. Because otherwise we slip right back into the place we were before, and all of those lives lost will mean nothing. So come on, people, step up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. Well, good afternoon. I don't know if you remember the Brady Bunch, but when I was growing up, I wanted to look like Marsha Brady. Remember her? Long blonde hair, fair skin. Marsha Brady was everything that I am not. TV and the dominant culture brainwashed me as to what our society's measure of physical beauty was. And frankly, I grew up hating myself. I hated my darker skin, my almond-shaped eyes, my short stature, and my black, straight, coarse hair. It was only when I visited my birthplace 3 years ago that I recognized my face in the face of 50 million South Koreans. I felt an immense kinship with people that I knew nothing about. Having grown up in a multiracial family during the 60s and 70s, I never learned much about my Korean heritage or culture. I carried the privilege that my white parents and siblings inherited. And between being part of my white family and the stereotypes that people had about Asian communities, I was spared some of the racism that other brown and black people have endured for centuries. The racism I experienced seemed like nothing compared to the lynching and mob mentality that white supremacists were inflicting. So I stuffed the name-calling, the taunts, and the microaggressions in my soul. But I stuck those deep down inside me, not realizing how these stereotypes and microaggressions festered inside of me. But when I saw the indifference on the face of the officer who extinguished George Floyd's life, something inside me began to break. I felt a rage so deep inside of me, like so many others. And I made a commitment to myself that I would never again be silent about the injustices that I am witness to. I have this recurring nightmare where in different scenarios I am absolutely terrified. And this overwhelming fear debilitates me. Someone's trying to attack me, and I'm frozen, and I scream. I try to scream, but I can't. Have you ever been so afraid that you were unable to scream, knowing that that one act just might be the only thing that can save you? A few months ago, I had this nightmare again. Only this time, I was able to scream. In fact, I screamed so loud that I woke up everyone in my house, and my kids came running into my bedroom, and they thought I was literally being murdered or attacked. Funny thing is that I haven't had that dream again. It's as if we have all been in a deep slumber, frozen, afraid, and unable to move. And the senseless murder of George Floyd has awakened the deepest part of our humanity and compassion. So many before him have been attacked, vilified, and murdered, as too many of us sat silent. Our community and our nation mourns George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Vincent Chin, and countless others. We are in the midst of perhaps one of the greatest civil rights movements in a generation. We can't bring back George, Breonna, or Vincent, but what we can do is honor their lives, tell their stories, and ensure that their families know that they did not die in vain. And we will continue to say their names. I stand here today in solidarity with all of you to ensure that our collective scream for justice be heard, that Black Lives Matter and that Vincent's life matter too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I stand before you, a proud African American. I was born in Japan when I came when I was 10 years old, so I grew up with the majority in my own country. It's so hard to see so many people, different backgrounds, come together because I'm trying to report what happened, but we're all very African American, 120,000 are incarcerated in prison camps in the deserts of this country. We were not together as minorities, we were not together as people of color. We stood watching other people be other, as we have so many times in our history of our country. This is able to do because the outlook of life for deaf Americans, not because of white Americans. I'm not sure that deaf Americans doing this side by side with his brother protesting together. So today I stand with all of you behind me, to say we are together and strong. We will be the majority community, 2042 of early. We need to change this country. Our lives every day. Remember the Body Said and the Muslim community. The old song that I grew up in the 60s, civil rights was singing, we shall overcome someday. He always reminds me that we shall overcome today, not someday. We shall need to overcome today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you for everyone who's here. As we come to this hallowed spot, I'm J.W. Mackey, pastor of historic Vancouver Avenue First Baptist Church. Also, the co-chair of the Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, where I serve alongside Reverend Linda Amarillo, and also convene the Interfaith Peace and Action Collaborative. As we come together today, particularly as we once again memorialize Vincent Chin's life, and recognize the unfortunate sins of injustice in this country, and remember that his life mattered. Remember that we work together. I stand as a representative of the African American community who has fought for justice in this country for more than 400 years. As I come to you today, I'm reminded that this is one of the best times for our country. To know that we are coming together of all faiths and of all backgrounds. To realize this fight is not just our fight. And to realize that injustice, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, anywhere, is a threat to justice everywhere. He also reminded us that no person is free until all people are free. And so I say to the descendants and family, extended family of Vincent Chin, and to every person who has suffered injustice and lost their life, we stand today as an example of how people not only get together, but stay together. We recognize that the work that is before us is serious. We recognize that we must work together, understand one another, be educated about each other, and make sure that as we walk, we are walking to make this country better and, quite frankly, live up to its promises to every one of its citizens. As we stand with you today, I recognize that a few years ago, when the term Black Lives Matter came up, it offended a number of people. And 4 years later, people understand that if Black lives matter, then finally all lives matter. But not only that, if Black lives matter, then the lowest ship will rise, and all of us will rise. Yeah. We will be stronger together. We will work to make sure that justice is what this country stands for. To dismantle every institution of racism that exists within the greater country that we were meant to be in the first place. While on the one hand, we are grateful for the number of decisions that have been made around the country to begin a dismantling of ugliness, of hatred, and injustice. My prayer is that we will all remember that we cannot let this moment pass. I don't know about you, but I don't want my children and grandchildren and their children's children to continue to live with the stain of racism. And I want to say on behalf of my people, to all who do not look like me or do not look like my Asian brothers and sisters that are gathered here today, we do not hate you. You are our brother. You are our sister. Come join us in this fight. Do not walk away from us. Do not assume that somehow you can be silent. This is not a moment for silence. This is a moment for togetherness. Let us work together in every way possible, because the more we are able to dismantle the systems of racism and injustice, the better off every one of us are going to be. And that same beloved community that Dr. King talked about is able to be realized if we work in the same direction. I'm grateful for today. I thank you for inviting me to come and be a part of this. I want to make sure that we do our part in the African-American community to make sure that we are supporting what is important to my Asian, Chinese, and Pan-Asian brothers and sisters, so that we work together and that you know we don't just show up for Black Lives Matter, because our belief is when Black Lives Matter, all lives will matter, and we will all work together to see a better tomorrow. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here.
I would like to use this opportunity to remind ourselves of so many things we take for granted. It has been for so long that we are convinced that racial discrimination can be done. As a matter of fact, you may look a little bit close. It's not that hard. For instance, whenever people talk about Black community, it's ignored. And talk about Chinese community, it's insulted. It seems the people of color do not deserve an urban life, and that outcome is corrupt. We all noticed the graduate from Chinatown School at the Cultural Center in recent years. Not long ago, Chinatown was the go-to place for immersive Chinese students. Now, this neighborhood has the highest concentration of social services. Except the Chinese Americans have the good heart to accept those non-actively as we are, is this reasonable to raise the question of racial discrimination against Chinese Americans? In one neighborhood. Now, our business city is starting to allocate resources to Black communities, which is way overdue. Some of the cities should also do something right for Chinatown and the Chinese American community. Thank you.
My brothers, sisters and brothers, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon you all. Muslims to President Trump today as the Chinese were to President Arthur in 1882. The Chinese Exclusion Act is also the closest cousin to the Republican President Donald Trump, a Muslim man. As we commemorate the tragedy of 1982 of Vincent Chin, we stand in solidarity with our African American brothers. Once Malcolm X stood up for bigotry and hate with his brother Martin Luther King. Today, the teachings and their standing revive itself. We also commemorate the so many bigotries and hate against so many individuals. In 2017, 2 Africans were facing bigotry from a white supremacist man. But out of that tragedy of 2017 came a heroism of 2 individuals. God gives us the opportunity to take something tragic and make it to the catalyst for something meaningful and transformative. The lives that we lost in 1982, the lives that we lost in the slavery ships, the loss we lost with the indigenous people, and many lives of so many indigenous and African slaves, the lives that we lose in Palestine among the Palestinian people, the lives that we lose of the Jewish people in the Holocaust, the lives we lose in the Rohingya Muslims in Burma, the lives we lose today in China among the Muslims, the Chinese Muslims, the lives that we lost in the Bosnian ethnic cleansing in India today, the Kashmiris are suffering, cannot be brought back. And that is truly tragic, that an act of hate could irrevocably change the lives of our sisters and brothers in humanity. But born from an ugly act of hate also came acts of heroism, compassion, and humanity that let us Muslims today hear of so many struggles that our so many brothers and sisters beyond ethnic and religious background are suffering. Today, my dear sisters and brothers, we need to stand against the system that is built in the genocide of the indigenous people, a system that built in the slavery of the African, a system that isolated us today, isolated women and men of so many backgrounds. At some point, our collective communities must come together to say enough is enough. We shall overcome today, not one day. Today it started with us, with me and you and each one of us, when we care about those that are victims of bigotry, when we care against anti-Semitism, when we care against Islamophobia, when we care against the ethnic cleansing of so many individuals. My dear sisters and brothers, when George Floyd was assassinated or killed intentionally, when Ahmed Arbery was assassinated and killed intentionally, when so many Sikhs, when so many Muslims are victims of so much bigotry, what we need to do, my dear sisters and brothers, and what happened a month ago, or what happened every day, or 400 years ago, should never be forgotten. Neither the act of hate that brought upon tragedy, nor the acts of heroism of individuals beyond the color of their skin that showed during the 17th tragedy here at Climate. Let us, my dear sisters and brothers, make that love, the love of the beloved people, in respect of their gender, ethnicity, and religiosity. And that starts with me and you and each one of you. We don't want only to see Chiraya to be the ambassador of the Chinese American. We see her in so many of our activities in the Muslim and the Arab community. We want to see every single Chinese to stand with the black community. We want to see every single Chinese to stand against Islamophobia. We want to see everybody together to claim the healing and unifying. May God bless us and may God make us agents of change, a positive change. Amen.
Thank you for the invitation to honor the memory of Vincent Chin and to stand together in solidarity
some middle school students organized a protest, and I went with my son. And we made a sign that said, "No puedo respirar." This is the Spanish translation for "I can breathe." And respirar, or breathing, is essential for any human being. And breathing is to life as denial and fear is to racism. Denial is the heartbeat of racism, as Abraham Denny said. And I believe fear is the motor that keeps us strong. The systematic, cruel, and dispersonalizing history of Black oppression continues to be a crime against the whole humanity. It's not against only our brothers and sisters, African Americans and Black. It's against all of us. Racism has been part of America's broken system for far too long. We cannot continue to stand here and continue letting this happen. Racism allows immoral words, actions, and death to become the norm instead of the exception. Yes, our communities have suffered in different ways. I'm a Latina. As an immigrant, I struggle because racism. My son is darker than me. He's taller than me and heavier than me. And even if I wanted to be with him 24 hours a day, I'm not going to be able to protect him. I cannot continue and standing here. We need to make a change for our kids, for our grandkids. We need to work together. You know, our struggles may be different, but our paths bring us here all together. To this day, to this city, to this one whole community. Not one different communities, one whole community. And I assure you, I understand your struggle. And we support you because like you, I know what is grasping for air. When you want to breathe and there's injustice, I know what is that. To grasp for justice. It's on the protest on Sunday and Sunday night when they ask us, what do we want? Justice! When do we want it? No! Thank you.
Unity. In 1982, Vincent Chin, a Chinese American, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat in Detroit, Michigan by two unemployed white auto workers. They only saw him as a target, a Japanese foreigner that took away their jobs. The term Asian American was not a phrase describing the Asian race until 1968. Before this time, there were only Chinese, Filipino, Korean, Japanese, Asian Pacific Islander, and every other Asian ethnicity out there. Vincent's story was the start of a movement that united all these communities together. When the court tried these two perpetrators, who openly admitted to killing Vincent Chin, witnesses said, using racial slurs at him. At the end of the trial, they were sentenced to 3 years probation, $3,000 fine, and no jail time. That moment gave rise to a massive civil rights movement across the United States, led by the Asian American communities, but joined by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and so many others, whites, blacks, Hispanics, Muslims, women's groups, church groups, labor groups, everyone, all astonished, shocked, outraged that someone can kill a minority person, admitted, and not go to jail. Today, we must again collaborate to speak out and make our voice heard, to call for systemic change, to end discrimination, hate, and the violence that causes it. The CCBA stands ready and committed Asian American communities to stand together in solidarity to support our brothers and sisters in the Black community. We all must work together to constructively end systemic racism
or injustice against one is injustice against all. We must speak up against the racial divide in America and around the world. Let us live up to our nation's motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one.
I'm not Jan. Jan over Kita, which is really bad. I am Sarah Chan, and I am part of Chinatown Museum, which is just across the street here. So Jan asked me to read her words. I was just a teenager in Oakland, California, when Vincent Chin was brutally beaten to the edge of death and subsequently died. I have already learned about the history of the United States and its deep-rooted slavery and racism. I wrote book reports for Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and imagined her courage and understood at a young age that not all people are treated fairly or equally. As a dark-browed girl who enjoyed playing in the sun outdoors, this news of Vincent Chin and the Asian American protest that followed alarmed and frightened me. Fast forward to today. I am a second-generation Filipino American serving the community as president of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce in Oregon. I co-chaired the Community Chamber Coalition of Oregon, working shoulder to shoulder with my brothers and sisters from the Asian Pacific Americans, including Chinese Americans, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Chambers of Commerce, Oregon. Our coalition advocates for economic mobility and economic empowerment. However, that wish is immobile so long as our social and justice system is unfair, inequitable, and steeped in systemic racism. But imbalance of power and rights of victims and the accused must be corrected. Death rate of discrimination in education, housing, land use, health care, law enforcement, economic development, financing, employment, and pay are still very much being felt today, resulting in it being both harder for people of color to start businesses as well as the people of color. Everything is stacked in the opposite direction and camouflaged in bureaucracy. Today, I am grateful for each of you and while we remember Vincent Chin, the deep sadness and loss felt by his mother, Lily Chin, and his fiancee, Vicky Wong, our work does continue. I hope that we leave this place with a shared voice, shared enthusiasm, and shared advocacy to hold those in power to be accountable for the betterment of our Black, Indigenous, and all peoples of color. Thank you.
My friends, even though we're on flat land, this is a mountaintop experience. It's an opportunity for every one of us to have been here, to have heard these wonderful messages of hope and unity and solidarity, and the determination for us to go back to the Valley to get the work done that needs to be done. I want to say that I'm grateful, and I want to ask us for a moment, have a moment of silence among us as we consider the life of Vincent Chin and the senseless death, the senseless justice system that allowed his perpetrators to not only get off, but to on appeal still. And yet today we stand 38 years later, thankfully remembering his name, remembering his family, and remembering the ugliness of injustice, which means that we must fight on. I want to thank Christine and everybody who's working with her to bring together this gathering today. I want to thank each one of the speakers who have spoken and reminded us of our individual responsibility as well as our collective responsibility. Let us take a few moments. Almighty God of many names, called by the people around the world. We are grateful to you for this time together, for not only these words spoken, but these challenges given, and the work that must be done as we go back to community and remember our responsibility. We pray that there will be an end to such murders. We pray that we remember that for those who have a hard time understanding our plight, that they will think about and review that video where that officer with his knee on Mr. George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds did not change his countenance, even though there were cries for him to cease and desist. He is a metaphor for the suffocation of so many people in this country. But we are here together today to say that strangulation will no longer be allowed, and that we will work together to make sure that it does not. And that if they can't breathe, we can't breathe. And it is our prayer that you will help us to muster up the strength to remember that we're in this, all of us, in this together, determined to do our part to make sure every person is free and that every person has the rights of life, of liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We thank you, we praise you, and love you. In your wonderful name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Lee, and I am here on behalf of the Portland Chinatown Museum, Jackie Peterson and her cohort. We're very proud to have the Portland Chinatown Museum here in Portland, and I hope more people will come visit, because it is through history that we understand our cultures. And the Roberta's installation of Vincent Chin is fabulous. It really drew my attention. As a board member of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance, we have 1819 lodges across the United States. Nationally, we've issued a statement about why we feel the phrase "all lives matter" is inappropriate at this time, because until Black Lives Matter, no lives matter. So we need to be inclusive. We need to work through everything you've heard before from the speakers, the criminal justice system, systemic racism. But really, I'm just going to speak to you from my heart. And that is, one-on-one, individually, until we collectively change the hearts and souls of our citizens so that they understand what minority populations have dealt with for many years, and not just minority populations, but all populations who have not been afforded the privilege of equality and equity. That is really what we need to do. And the best way to do that is 3 things. Take it up your personal responsibility to share stories, because it is learning through each other's experiences and culture that we start to understand. Number 2, please take part in the census, and please help someone else. You do not have to be a citizen to do the census. Why is that so important? Because it's about power and money. It's about money because it's funding for the state of Oregon, especially during this crisis. And it's about power because it's about representation in our government. And the last thing I encourage everybody to do, of course, is vote, because that is your voice. For the Asian Pacific Islander community, many times we are silent. Silence is complicity at this point, so I encourage everyone to find their voice. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you stand up here and talk like I do. It means that you could read, you could understand, you can share stories with your grandparents. There's some wonderful YouTubes out now explaining racism to older generations. There are so many things that we can do, and I hope each of you will take the time to do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of those things. Thank you.
So my name's Roberta Wong. I'm a visual artist born in Portland, Oregon. My art is defined by my identity as a hyphenated American and as a woman of color. My parents were immigrants from the Tuisan, Guangdong province of China. And I claim my Chinese heritage, but I claim my power as an Asian American. And it's with the binding of the lived lives of Chinese American immigrants and the Japanese American civil rights activists, the Filipino labor leaders, the South Pacific Islanders environmentalists, the Hawaiians who seek sovereignty and cultural rights, as well as the many refugees from our Southeast Asian countries who have survived war-torn years. They all come and resettled here and have met the challenges of caste discrimination, but struggle today with the clash of generations as they acclimate to their new setting. And yet they remain committed to providing a better future for their families and communities. But my inspiration comes from the spirit of the indigenous peoples. In the face of annihilation, they stood strong and wavering at Standing Rock, and I use that power to stand among our community here against racial violence and prejudice that exists within our communities as well as among our communities. And it's important that we stand together to fight injustice because Black Lives Matter. And in closing, I wanted to share the concept of the Tao, in Taoism, and to have you envision peace when the balance of nature is restored. Thank you.